The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We're here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dub, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense, alongside the hit squad, my guy, young RG Robert Garcia, real AG Alex Givens, and NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, and Captain Jack Rackham. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Week 3 of the Lockdown Blitz. We are live and direct, your weekly NFL recap show. We're bringing to you live from the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already to let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here. Gentlemen, let's go around the room and let's see how everybody's doing. Quick vibe check real quick. Young RG, how you doing out there, good brother?
Oh, you already know the vibes are high over here, Coach. 2-0. We are flying high right now.
That's right, baby. That's right. That's indeed. Yes, indeed. No, listen, nothing else needs to be said.
Nothing else. Short and simple.
Indeed. The real AG Alex Givens. What's going on, good brother? How you feeling?
I'm on the opposite end of RG's highness over there, you know.
I get it.
I'm just wallowing in self-pity right now. No, I'm kidding. It's wish it could be better, but hey, we're on with the hit squad. Got the NFL Nation Live crew. Worst ways to spend your Tuesday night, man.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Ref Guru, good sir, how you doing? What's happening?
Hey, good for a Tuesday. Glad it was a quiet week around the NFL officiating wise. Nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? You sure about that?
I think the Twitter app would tell us differently, but we'll get into all that. Captain Jack Rackham, good sir, on travel. How you doing out there?
I'm good. I'm at the Shea Hollywood in South Carolina. I'm not sure if I was here last Sunday or last Tuesday. I don't even know what friggin' day it is. So, you know, I woke up early to get here, to be here, because I love all y'all. And I'm not saying this because it's BS. This crew, this show, this gathering, I love it. And I would not miss it. So if I do miss it, it's because I couldn't be here. So we love all y'all guys.
Indeed. Appreciate you as always. Yes, indeed. So, yes, the NFL Week 2 is in the books, and we've definitely got a lot of things to talk about. I mean, we might not even get to it all today, but it's a lot of news going on, a lot of things happening. You know, we have a weekly show, a weekly segment on the show that we like to call Ask the Ref. So we're going to talk about some interesting or maybe controversial calls this week. So we're going to get to our correspondent, our retired referee, Ref Guru, in our second week call. Let's ask the ref. So, Mr. Guru, sir, we've had a lot of goings back and forth on Twitter and things of that nature, and a lot of things that we've seen in just 2 weeks of quote unquote NFL action that we want to get your take on. If you don't understand or know exactly what his background is, he is definitely an NFL retired referee. He has a lot of knowledge and a lot of I guess you can say diary in the game, skin in the game in regards to its inner workings. So we want to get his opinion on the lot of calls that have been happening in the NFL. Some guys have reached out to him on X and asked him certain questions and things of that nature, and a few things he wants to share. And I got a question of 2 of my own. So Yes, sir. Please have the floor and tell us exactly what's going on in the league through 2 weeks and what is your view of the landscape?
Well, it's really interesting because I think what we're seeing is at a high level, kind of the culmination of the downside of 3 preseason games, if you will. And I know that the NFL, is looking at the schedule and the number of games, from a competitive and player standpoint. But the officials, we're into week 2. Officials just haven't really had a lot of reps. You keep in mind that I haven't done the numbers, but quite a few officials are on different crews than they were last year for all kinds of reasons that go on in the background. And it's going to take a little while for the officials and their communication, their habits, and everything to come together as a crew, just like it does for the players. And so when we say the officials don't get a lot of reps, then we're kind of seeing a little bit of a fallout from that. The other part of it is all the nuances of officiating that we see and the relative impact with television and the collision of what we think we know versus what really happened type of thing. And then the other part is just the attrition. They've had a lot of attrition. The officials have had a lot of attrition. And I think that there's a lot of young folks out there that are learning the game and the speed of this game at the pro level. So it's an interesting time. I think we get into week, 6, 7, and 8. Not saying we won't have controversial calls because we always will have something. But I'm not surprised.
No.
I'm not surprised last week or week 2 that we didn't end up with a few things out there.
Understood. So and I want to ask you, there's a follow-up question to that. So why do they have the switching around of crews? Why don't they stick with the same crew so they can build continuity and understand exactly how each person, referees a game?
Yeah, it's a good point. They do stay with the same crew throughout the whole season. But then after the season, there's a myriad of reasons why officials will move around. Politics, referee doesn't like you. They feel like that the officials, particularly the younger officials, their development is impacted if they can move around and associate with other officials with different and varying experience levels. And so there's a few factors, I think, really at a high level. I think the getting a chance to get to know your fellow officials is a little bit a part of it too. I'm not saying that they're having an ice cream social in the off season. Say, hey, why don't you come over to my crew? I mean, there's some politicking in that, but all these officials are essentially one big group, and moving around a little bit's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does impact the continuity, and they feel like that a certain amount of movement is healthy, and they're willing to take the downside of that, whatever it might be.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Going around the room real quick, do you guys have any direct questions for Ref before we get into some coverage for the week?
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We'll let Cap go first.
Uh-oh.
No.
jumping at the bit.
Please no. Please no.
Yeah.
I implore you, please, to let me go last.
Well, I'm afraid to ask mine because I'm worried about how long it will take or will be in this segment. But just curious what refs' thoughts are on a certain play that a certain team in Pennsylvania does, and just kind of the inconsistent. A green team in Pennsylvania. How about that, Robert?
Yeah.
There we go.
Steelers.
Yeah.
The Philly
It
Leopards?
just how it just seems to be getting more and more frustrating for teams and media and officials covering it. And like I said, even Dean Blandino's like, I'm done talking about this, guys. It's too hard. Yeah. Yes, the push.
Yes, that.
And just what your thoughts are on it, Ref. If you have any new thoughts on it. I mean, I guess I've never really directly asked you about this. So
yeah. The NFL's decided that they're entertainment, and I think that's they're willing to let the mechanics and perhaps even some of the integrity of the game go in order for the optics of entertainment. From an officiating standpoint, it's an impossible play to officiate. Everybody's all packed in there. They're so close together. Like, if you really slowed it down, I think you could see the couple Eagles were offsides on that. I can tell you as a line judge, very, very difficult when everybody's in that close to see that. And when you slow it down, you see a couple guys go offside into the neutral zone before the snap. You're like, how can you not see that?
Right.
Let me tell you what, when you get down on the field and everybody's packed in there and you're 30 feet away from all that, good luck trying to see that. There's other things too that honestly shouldn't, but impact your vision. There's lights, there's reflections off helmets and stuff. And so it's very difficult a play to officiate. I don't think it's even humanly possible to officiate that. If you're going to officiate that play, you're going to have some tech behind it. You're going to have a sky judge or a camera in the ball or a camera in somebody's helmet. I don't know.
Sensor.
But I don't think my concern really about the play, if we're just going to absorb the entertainment value of it, is the safety factor. The NFL does all these things in the name of player safety, and then they let 22 guys all cram themselves into a really small area and beat the snot out of each other. And I think I don't like the optics of that. Should we outright ban it? Back in the day, you couldn't assist players, and now apparently you can. So I don't really know what to do. If I were a voting member of the competition committee, my vote would be to maybe not necessarily ban it, but there have to be some parameters around it. You can't put all 22 guys into that little tiny box. Spread somebody out. I don't know. You got to do something. But the owners approved it. They went with it. But I don't think that was smart. But I think eventually it goes away, and I think it's going to be a player safety issue ultimately.
Yeah.
That's rock.
We just need the Eagles to make the Super Bowl, the Bills make the Super Bowl, and the Eagles win by running that play a couple times.
That'll be the end of it.
Then it'll get changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Bills.
Well, even think about this.
Think of it too.
Yeah, think about this. Think about the Super Bowl, games on the line. A touchdown wins it because you're down by 4, but you're at the let's say you're at the 1 yard line and you can get a first down at the 6-inch line.
Yeah.
Right now, what do we got? I mean, there's all kinds of different ways for this could go sideways, but so I think something will eventually happen, and
I just think it's a gimmicky play. Sirianni and the Eagles know it's a gimmicky play, and they're just exploiting it until
and
someone
you
tells
can't
them
stop
they can't. Because I mean, hell, when I played football, it was a penalty to push a ball carrier any more forward, and then it's like, you know what? Nah, it's not a penalty anymore. But it's almost like the argument with not to get too deep into politics or any of that, but like, the Second Amendment. It's like, well, what is like I always think of that Family Guy skit where like people aren't going to get this wrong, right? And it's like, of course not. Everyone should have a set of bear arms on their wall. And it's like, the NFL thought, by letting players, push the ball carriers forward. I'm thinking of like that one-off with the guy getting stalled right at the goal line and the lineman nudges him over. And then it's like the Eagles just misinterpreted it to this ultimate extreme. Because I mean, my big thing is like they line up in an illegal formation almost every time doing it. And there's like all these emphasis on where the tackles are lined up when it's just a normal shotgun formation or things like that. But it's like everyone just turns a blind eye when they're doing that. Because I mean, they're arguably lined up like they're taking a knee, which is fine if you're not advancing the ball. If you're just trying to chew the clock, go for it. But if you're trying to make your whole red zone identity out of that, I'm going to start taking issue with it. And that's not me bitching as a Chiefs fan, just for all the people in the chat here. That's just, I mean, hey, I said it pre-show. That's not the reason the Chiefs lost.
I will admit, I was there. I can attest to Mr. Smug saying it's not the reason why we lost. So you're covered. You're covered this week, Alex. You're covered.
There we go. I appreciate that, Cap.
Yeah, I definitely agree that based upon the fact that they, I guess you can say, use that, they didn't have a lot of offense happening in that particular game this past Sunday. So that was largely their offense. So I think that seeing that from an optics perspective, a lot of people complain about it, and it barely made it this year. So if it wasn't for Jason Kelsey coming in with the 11th hour to kind of sway the vote, it would have got banned this past
Filibuster the
summer.
floor.
Right, yeah, right. He basically pulled a senator filibuster move. So yeah. So I think that they're going to readdress it again. Either the Packers or the Chiefs are going to address it as far as it being banned. I think they're going to vote it out personally. So I just enjoy it while you can. So like I really say, Eagles enjoy it while you can. If you win another Super Bowl, if you can. If not, I think it's out of here personally. But just from an optics perspective, there's so many people complaining about it at this point. Now they don't want people complaining about it to the point where it's going to affect revenue.
The real crazy thing. Sorry,
I'm sorry. Well, you said it. People complained about it. Okay.
Right.
And it was almost banned. People complained about, I don't know, a certain team last year who got a lot of calls, and they complained about it, and they were heard, right? Sorry. I'm just, low-frying fruit there, big guy. I'm going to take it. So if enough people do complain about it, it is usually heard, and things get switched.
Yeah. There you go. Roberts, do you have anything to add on this particular one? Because I want to ask Ref one more question before we move on.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm kind of like indifferent about the whole tush push. Personally, the thing I will kind of say that I did see the play where they're jumping early, and like that should be something that is reviewed or looked at by referees down the sideline. Just line up yourself with the ball. And the minute you see somebody move before the ball moves, I know it's probably insanely tough to track, but I'm with you guys. I think eventually it will get banned. But to Coach's point, they have this year to try to get the ring out of it.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. Okay. All right. So, Ref, I got a question about your take on roughing the passer as a whole. We've seen two quote unquote letter of the law mishaps, in my opinion, in a couple of games here where the quarterback was tackled. He was not, the whole issue with the body weight thing, right? He was the lineman or the tackler braced themselves both times. They didn't press their whole body weight on the defender, and it was still called. So what is your overall opinion on this rule in general and from a referee perspective? And do you think they're getting it right? Do you think they're getting it wrong? Are they somewhere in the middle? Where do you sit on that?
Well, I think they've got it 50% wrong or 50% right, depending on who you're looking at, who the referee is and who the quarterback is. I think that
quarterback.
There's 100% problem in terms of the consistency. If you're a certain quarterback that nobody cares about, you probably will get pummeled, and there might be a flag. If you're some other quarterback, you probably will get a flag if they even look at him funny. And so I think that from a officiating standpoint, there's two problems here. It's not officiated consistently, but the reason why it's not officiated consistently is really two reasons. It's highly subjective call by the referee usually, because that's his key. It's the quarterback. And there's no standard. There's nobody who sat down and tried to say, not that you can ever come with all of the types of angles and hits that you're going to see, but they haven't even dropped them into 4 big buckets, right? Don't look at him. Don't breathe on him. Don't trip on him. Don't step on his foot. Don't cut him off at the knees. Don't push him on his back. Don't hit him in the helmet. Don't touch his face mask. Don't mess up his mascara. Whatever it is, they haven't dropped any of those into any kind of bucket so that the referees know what the standard is. So basically, if you have 17 crews and 17 referees, you got 17 different standards.
Wow.
So basically, of whatever referee is on that night, and most of those referees are at whatever game they're at for a reason. That's not just a random selection. Okay. The NFL knows exactly what crew they're sending to which games and why. You don't just throw them all in the hat and go, oh, gee, look, Bill Vinovich, you got the Giants this week. No. They went through the schedule and they said this crew's going here and that crew's going there, and there's a reason why. Part of it is because everybody gets a Monday night game, everybody gets a Sunday night game, everybody gets a division game, blah blah blah. So they got to spread that around. But there's a reason why Vinovich was in Dallas. and that crew was in Dallas. There's a reason why Carl Sheffers was in Las Vegas last night. So there's a reason why those officials are there. But the big reason to your question, Coach, is that there's no standard, and so there's 17 standards.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. That is definitely news to me, and that's definitely what I wanted to hear ref breakdown, because I don't think people really get the full gamut as casual or hardcore fans from the TV perspective is what goes on inside the NFL inner workings of how they delineate referees, to put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and who goes where is a big thing.
Say it again.
Go ahead, Cap.
I was going to say, remember, there's one more question now.
Oh, no, I'm not done. I was just driving up the point that what he's saying is very valid, and people, have to, digest the idea of what goes on and how referees are assigned and how they're delineated. So yes, absolutely. For that's definitely something. It's definitely a good information for me, and I wanted the fans out there to know for that for sure. But Cap, please, go ahead with your question.
Well, first off, Brian, you pretty much had it right on the fact that Sheffers did a job versus a certain team in red last week, and then he got the double trifecta. I know that's not grammatically correct, a double trifecta, but it just seemed like in order for him to get the trifecta, he'd have to do the Chargers Donkeys game next week to do that, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Because I don't know if they can work like the same team back-to-back weeks. Ref would know about that.
No, they cannot.
Okay, well then he'll get a Chargers Donkeys game later in the year, in order to give the W to the Bolt people. So just wait, Brian. You're gonna have to wait a little bit on that one. My question is, and it actually goes with like the last question about late hits and defensive pass interference. I know you guys are just waiting. Just said, "Yep." Captain's going to ask it. I think that there was some numbers that were put out that the Sheffers crew. I don't know if it was last night or overall. How it was probably one of the worst officiated, if not the worst officiated game going. And I was there, folks. I really was. I was there, and it was horrible to watch. What? At one point said, yeah, no, that's not quite defensive pass interference because, they took out the face guarding rule. But then the guy remembered, he told me this. He said, no, but he hit his arm and the helmet. I'm like, oh, well, if that happened, then it was a defensive pass interference. Because at the time I said, no, face guarding was taken out. You could face guard somebody as long as you didn't interfere with them. So that was the one play, and I think it was the play where it would have given the Raiders life on a third and what we needed it, and they didn't get anything out of that. So again, DPI, I know it's you're gonna go by. It depends upon the angle, it depends upon the official. I get it, ref, but they really need to clean that up. That's just an aside by me.
Yeah, there was a good comment that just came up. I was wrong. It wasn't Carl Sheffers last night. It's Clay Martin.
I was going to say, because that would just directly refute what you said.
That was my bad.
I'm like, the fix is in.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Well, Clay sucks. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay,
to your point, and I understand that I lean towards the Raiders, but I thought last night's game, the Raiders didn't lose because of the officials, but the officials, man,
that's true, and I'll get to that.
They were calling it really, really tight for the Raiders. Even when the Raiders moved the ball and I was watching where they were spotting the ball, it was like, wow, that is a really, really tight spot. And I agree. I didn't agree with some of the calls that were made. But to your point on DPI, there was a lot of chatter about the Bengals game. Okay, there was a DPI called against Jacksonville late in the game that gave the Bengals a chance to come up on that. And everybody was calling, that wasn't DPI. You know what? You can't officiate from the television angles. You just can't. You can't tell really what was going on there. You gotta be down on the field, and that field judge who had been watching those two players all the way down the field, he knows what was going on there. Now I understand there's a lot of folks up in arms about a lot of calls in that one, and then close the ones in Indianapolis as well. But let me just touch on the Bengals thing really quick. You know, one of my questions to folks always is, what would have been the reaction on that particular call? Because they called DPI on Jacksonville late in the game, which gave the Bengals a chance to win it. But what would have been the reaction on that call if it had been 0-0 in the first quarter? Would the reaction have been the same, or would people have gone, well, I don't know, wasn't that big a deal, but, you know, the score is 0-0? Or was it because it was late in the game that it got a reaction? But I got to tell you that after I've just told you we really can't officiate from the television angle, the television angle would make you want to think that that was not DPI. But I got to tell you that from the field judge's perspective, that the Jacksonville player's got an arm in there. He's not watching the ball. From what I've seen on that, I wouldn't be able to argue the call that was not DPI. It might not have been, but I got to see it from another angle before I would say definitively whether it was or wasn't. But having been in that situation and seen that, I'm not. I think that's probably an okay flag. Again, I'm going to defend it based on what I saw quote on TV. But I don't know. But I think it was probably an okay call. But it gets a lot of attention because it's late in the fourth quarter and it impacts the game. I think you saw an impact of the game in Indianapolis, right, where Denver was called for interfering with the center guard combination there, what they call the leverage play. You know, I'm not saying there wasn't leverage, but again, I've only seen the TV angle. That was a pretty gutsy call on the part of the officials on that. I didn't see enough that I didn't see also the Colts doing that would have made me want to throw a flag on that. My guess, and based on the reaction that I looked at from the officials, was that the Colts were in the officials' ear saying, hey, they're getting honest during these kicks. We want you to watch for that. And then when you look at the play, because you got the umpire and the side judge back in there behind the defensive line, you kind of see the side judge kind of twist and look over a little bit going, hey, what do I have there? And I don't know who threw the flag, but it looks like one of those calls where they got talked into it. And again, that's just an observation from my standpoint. Whether it was a penalty or not, hard to tell because of the angles. It looks legit, but at the same time, even if it is legit, I saw some of the Colts players essentially making contact, if you will, with the Broncos players, and I think that game just got out of control. Unfortunately, I think Denver took one on the chin for that one, but I think the officials got talked into that call.
Interesting. Yeah, because I actually want to go back to the Travis Hunter call real quick. The angle I saw two different angles. The one that was buzzing around Twitter was the angle from I guess you could say the field side. I had an angle from the sideline side, and you can see Travis Hunter contacting him early, right before the ball gets there. Not only the hand fighting as you described, ref, but he actually contacted him. He wasn't looking for the ball.
That's the big one. He's not looking for the ball.
He was not looking for the ball, and he contacted the receiver right before the ball got there and knocked him down. So that's what made a DPI for me. So I actually think you got that call right.
This ain't the Big 12 anymore, Travis.
So the official there's got at least two criteria. He's got an official with an arm in there, or he's got a defensive back, what they call an arm bar, right? He's shielding the receiver from being able to get to the bar with his arm. He's not looking at the ball. If he'd have been looking back at the ball and he's got an arm in there to kind of keep a feel of where the receiver are, that one could have been touchy. But he doesn't look back maybe until like the very end. It was too late. But here's the challenge really that we've got on all sides, both offense, defense, and from the official standpoint. The offenses are starting to understand now that if you send a guy down the field and he's got coverage, all he has to do is stop and let the defensive back run into him. The ball can be short, and you've got a flag. So we've got a problem here with the way some of these pass places are being coached. And because I just got a feeling like they're coaching these players. Hey, if the ball's underthrown, stop running and let the defensive back run into you. We'll get a flag.
100%.
The Eagles did that against the Chiefs.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. That's a combination between the league and the officials and the coaches going together, going, this is not the way the game should be played. But right now, the officials are the cops. They have to sort it out. But that's an ugly part of the game that I'm seeing. It's creeping in there just like the horse collar tackle when it first got started. You could see early on that was a very dangerous play, but coaches were telling players, hey, get hold of their shoulder pads, come off your feet, and they can't carry your weight and their weight. You'll drag them to the ground.
Right.
The NFL got on top of that because of the injury, and we're not going to suffer a lot of wide receiver injuries because maybe some defensive backs are running into them. But again, this is part of the game that we have to try to figure out, but it makes those calls very difficult. The officials should back there at NFL speed going, do I have DPI or do I not? Or in some cases, holding, right? The difference between holding and DPI is whether or not the ball's in the air, right? So it can be one or the other depending on what the status of the ball is. But I wouldn't want to be a field judge, side judge in today's game. And the Cincinnati Bengal game is a perfect example of why.
Understood. Yeah, that was a rough call, and the Colts game was even rougher because I was sitting here screaming at Shane Steichen in my TV when his play calling for the first 3 plays of that drive that ended up in the field goal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? You're at the edge of field goal range. You're not in comfortable range. Why are you calling these ridiculous plays?
Yeah.
Then you get to the point where he keeps a 60, misses it badly, and then he gets a reprieve with the leverage call.
They were like playing for a 60-yard field goal, man. It was crazy.
Right. Again, you have a nice kicker, but I mean, come on, get a guy a chance.
He's not Brandon Aubrey.
You know, coach.
He was the Chiefs' emergency kicker last year, so it's like it's not like he was an established commodity. Like,
right.
Yeah, coach, that's a really good point that you guys are bringing up, and let me just touch on that because at a high level, the officials are charged with maintaining the integrity of the game based on the rules. And when there are all these nuances with the rules, it makes it very difficult for us to officiate at NFL speed. What do I have? And oftentimes they'll defer to a flag or no flag based on whether or not they think they've got a replay assistant or whether the plays are reviewable. Because I'll tell you what, with some of these younger officials, they're just getting caught up in the moment. And they have to make split-second decisions on what they have and what they don't have. And when you have teams that are creatively, and I'm not saying illegally, but creatively manipulating the intent of whatever rule it is because they think they found a loophole somewhere, man, they're putting the officials in a bad spot. And I would be, if I were a supervisor at NFL, I'd be going to the coaches. If you're going to do that, we're not going to tell you can't, but you need to give us a heads up that's what your game plan is, because that gives us an opportunity to get back as officials and say, okay, this coach is known for doing this or that. Here's how we're going to officiate that. When it comes up hot in a game and you got to make a game time decision based on that, not a good position to be in. You'll be second guessed by everybody, even if you were right.
Yeah. Because I'm even seeing a growing trend where they're calling touchdowns, questionable touchdowns, and let the replay assist
because they know they have replay. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yes,
but do you think that's also a dangerous part of it? Because, they're just figuring, oh, well, I'll call touchdown and then, we can go to replay review. But calling, for those like true 50-50 calls, calling it a touchdown on the field, it's so hard to overturn it after that because you already have the original call on the field. So it's like you then need, it's almost like you're guilty until proven innocent. It's like, how do you, for teams, that's kind of, it's like a tough bridge there for that.
It is. And so the officials have what they call when in doubt scenarios. When in doubt, is it a catch? It's not a catch. When in doubt, and so there's 2 problems with what you're saying there. The officials as a group haven't definitively come out and said as part of their mechanics, go ahead and call this if you have replay assistance. But the veteran officials know that they do, so they make that call. The other officials, the younger ones, aren't sure, so they don't. So what you get in a situation is that they have to make a call or they have to get help. You'll see them look at the back judge or the side judge to see, hey, did you see hands or feet? This is when you have new crew members, especially the younger officials. That's what happens because you've only got 3 officials back there basically on any play outside the 20-yard line that are going to be able to rule on that. Inside the 20, you're going to have some help from the line judges, but outside the 20, you're not. So then the question is, who's got hands, who's got feet? The official can't see both. So he's got to know from his back judge who's got hands, who's got feet. Did you have feet, 2 feet in, touchdown? I got a catch, or I don't have a catch. Sometimes they got to wait for a second because they got to determine whether or not there's a flag. If you have a flag on what appears to be a scoring play and the officials do not signal touchdown, you generally know that's going to be against the offense. If there's a potential scoring play and there's a flag, even though there's whistles and you see a touchdown signal, generally that's probably going to be against the defense, as the officials know what that flag is for, probably depending on where the flag is and who threw it. But I agree with you. It's very difficult, and they should not be officiating because they think they have replay, because what if the replay doesn't have the angle? So they need to be told to make the call and then sort it out. The other caveat is not all plays are reviewable. Now, scoring plays are in that case, but my contention is we're going to eliminate a lot of this nonsense if you make all plays potentially reviewable. That doesn't mean you're going to review all the plays. It just means that if we need to, we can. This whole nonsense of, well, this play is reviewable, this play isn't, that's ridiculous. Why you have 50% of the game not reviewable and other plays you do, that doesn't make any sense. If you're going to give the officials help, give it to them 100%, then all these what-if calls are going to go away.
Yeah, I like it.
I agree with that. They should do that in the preseason.
Well, yeah, but they don't.
Just see how much it impacts the game time, because I bet it doesn't.
Right.
You know, it doesn't, well, that was their thing. It's like, well, if we review all the plays, it'll stop the game. No, it won't. That's what they're doing now. What they're trying to needle this in there by saying, oh, we have replay assist. So they're saying, oh, within 20 seconds, if replay can clean something up, they'll do that. You got a 40-second clock. Why are they being pushed to 20 seconds? I mean, if there's a hurry-up offense, well, then you can't fix it, right? But basically on a normal set of plays, when the play's over, official raises his hand. That tells the game clock guy to restart the clock. So unless you have a timeout, it's 40-second clock. If you have timeout or injury, sometimes 25 seconds. But so why do they only have 20 seconds for replay assist? Some of their stuff that they do up there in New York just baffles me to no end, because I'm thinking you're not making anything better. You're just around with stuff and you don't
just
even know why
trying to say you're attacking it, but not really.
It's like we're treating all the symptoms, but we're not finding a cure for the disease.
If that's how it goes to, I could totally see the Eagles like, fine, we're just going to run no huddle offense the whole time.
Yeah.
Good luck looking at my plays.
Exactly.
I already snapped another one.
Right.
And do you exactly? But do you blame the coaches for avoiding those nuances? I don't.
No, I mean.
So now the officials are like, gee, how are we going to officiate this? And so then you go through all that, and you go through all these crew changes and assignments, and you have we've got some of the out of all the years they've been doing this, I think this year we've got probably the youngest set of officials per capita that we've had in a long time. So, they've said, well, we're 98% correct. Well, that 2% is pretty big when you think about it.
Also a lot of games, that's for sure.
Yeah, just South the Jaguars. Yeah.
I was going to say, and I know this from Ref when we were doing NFL Nation Live. When the NFL gets caught up in a controversial thing, and I'm going to start to the last time the Raiders were in the playoffs. I know some people were not alive back then. Okay, I get that.
Hey, you were in the playoffs not too long ago.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that, because I'm going right back to the Cincinnati game where Jerome Boger's crew screwed up so bad that everybody just went ballistic over, and the NFL said, you know what? You're right. None of those officials will be working next week. That was their last playoff game. What people didn't realize was that because it was that round of the playoffs, they weren't working that next week anyway, but they don't bother to tell you that. You need to know these things.
The bigger issue on that Bengals playoff game with Boger's crew and the cover-up was the official that blew the inadvertent whistle was doing his last game, and they didn't want him to go out with any controversy. They wanted to retire him quietly, and that's exactly what they did. If it cost the Raiders the playoffs, so be it. It was awful.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Damn.
Brutal. Man.
I don't forget.
The Raiders got shafted in the playoffs.
Wow. Man, that listen, that was insightful. That was insightful, educational. It definitely opened my eyes to even more things that I didn't already know. Ref, you're absolute gold mine when it comes to that information, sir. I appreciate you for giving us that insight. Gentlemen, do you have any more questions for Ref before we move on to our next segment?
No, I do not.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Ref,
Thank
are you
you. I
sticking
appreciate
around,
it.
or are you gonna take your leave at this point?
Yeah, I will. I'll wait for your break, and then I'll see you all next week. But hit me up
Okay.
if you got anything. I'll help you out.
I will
Absolutely.
do
Ref.
that. Ladies and gentlemen, Ref Guru.
Thank you. Appreciate your support.
Not a problem. Appreciate you as always. So, moving on down the line, let's get into Hit Squad headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right. So, man, it's kind of hard to top that referee segment. We're gonna try. So, let's talk about headlines this week. There's a lot of things going on in the NFL in regards to quarterbacks for sure. Injuries galore. The biggest one is Joe Burrow. So I want to go around the room and talk about Joe Burrow's injury. It's a lot of nuance in this regard. I mean, we can talk all day about his lack of support, his inability to be protected, his injury history. Is he frail in his own right? We don't know. But I just want to give everybody's take and honest opinion on what they think this injury is going to do for Joe Burrow at this stage of his career and going forward for the Bengals. So I'm gonna start with young RG, Robert Garcia, and you give me your take on Mr. Joe Burrow and this litany of injury. Because if you can write a list of what he's been doing in the past 5 to 6 years, I think he's been hurt every year but one.
Yeah, every year, and it's been a different injury to a different part of his body every time as well.
Yes.
You have the turf toe right now.
Wrist.
The wrist, and I think it was a broken ankle, I think it was, or something like that, some kind of broken bone, if I could remember. I thought he had something in his leg, if I'm not mistaken.
The broken house injury, remember that? 'Cause that was oh, come on, guy, that was so easy.
That was good. Here, I'm looking it up right now, Robert.
All right.
He had it's college. We don't care. Torn ACL, PCL, MCL, and meniscus. So
that was year one.
That was the
gambit.
Yep.
Total knee blowout. That's always good.
So
dislocated finger.
Yeah.
MCL sprain, calf strain, torn wrist ligament,
the heart bone, and
then turf toe. Yeah. So literally all over.
Yeah.
Ding bone and the ding bone damn bone.
To Brian's point, quite literally, yeah. I mean, that's what's happening right now. And to what Coach was saying earlier, you could put it as, Burrow, was injured in college. So if you come into the league injured, you're going to stay injured. You could point it to the Bengals front office and their inability, and maybe their downright just disregardance of trying to address an O-line for him. But at the end of the day, this league is a harsh, brutal game, and guys will get hurt every week. That's the way it goes. And unfortunately, there are just some guys who their bodies either don't heal as well, or, after that first initial injury, they're quite, literally never the same. I will say, on a side note, I am happy, of course, that Joe did get his money. He deserves it. So obviously, in that regard, he is taken care of. But as far as his football career goes, man, the division he plays in, the AFC North, is that in and of itself is such a brutal division. I'd consider it probably one of the more violent divisions in the NFL. And I know we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, as the rule changes have come into effect, protecting the quarterback. But there's only so much you can do with protecting the quarterback. And yeah, you could throw a flag on it, but that doesn't necessarily take away the injury that has already occurred. So this is all to say, Bengals fans, I'm sorry. Your season's done. I think you pretty much already knew that when the injury was announced and when it was said that he was going to be gone for 3 months. You're 2-0. You beat that stigma, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What it cost.
At what cost? Yeah, there you go. And what did it cost? Everything. That's it.
Everything.
Everything. I like that. We might have to post that on Twitter. Oh, Alex.
Did we finally win the opening? Did we start the season hot? Yes. What it cost? Everything.
Everything. There you go. There you go. Okay. Captain Jack, what is your take on the Joe Burrow injury, and what is this going to mean for the Bengals going forward?
Well, actually, I'm going to tie some of the Joe Burrow injury into those hot takes things later on. So I'm not going to get too far into it, but
okay.
I mean, here it is. I mean, it was just said, and I'm going to try to show. I'm sorry, you know, I'm friggin' verbose, but it just goes without saying. If you're tagging all of your luck and worries and anticipation on an offense that who's strapping you for cap for hell, and you can't keep them on the field, then obviously your GM office is AFU. If you don't know what AFU is, please look it up. I'm not going to give you what it is. But again, so Joe Burrow's out for 3 months.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yikes. Good to see you, though. I like that. That was good. That was good.
Send them off.
Exactly. You're right.
Send them to the pasture.
There you go. Yeah, just don't make glue out of them. That's all you say.
Yeah, put a bullet in them. Oh no, you can't do that. That would just be like, oh, I'm not going to make any Second Amendment bullet jokes here.
Please no.
Not this
we like going on air every week. We like that. We don't want.
Not even I can screw up the show like that. Let's put it that way.
All right, Real AG, Alex Gillen, what you got on this topic?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to piggyback off of what Young RG said and BC in the chat, I mean, it's called the NFL not for long for a reason. And, I mean, injury concerns are always going to be a thing. But, I mean, in my experience as a player and just as a fan, I mean, once they start to pile up and you hit that, you know, close to 30 mark or past it, I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for confidence in them returning into the player they were pre-injury and that being any kind of long-term sustained thing. So, you know, I think we got to have serious concern if you're a Bengals fan or just a fan of good quarterback play as to what Joe Burrow will look like coming back from this injury. I agree. I think the Bengals season is done. I mean, I think the Bengals know that at this point, unless they somehow can get whatever they can out of Jake Browning and
that first
stay remotely close. But yeah, but then the other thing is to me, I mean, this is the bed that the Bengals and Joe Burrow to a degree made, and they got to lay in it. I mean, Bengals made this bed by spending approximately, just in case someone in the chat wants to get snippy with me, 90% of their cap on 3 players, none of which are blocking for the guy throwing the ball. Yeah. And then, you know, you see, I mean, week 1, we saw Myles Garrett just tee off on him. And it's like, hey, he can't take this for much longer. Yeah, he couldn't take it for a whole nother game. I mean, at that point.
One more week.
And like I said, it's a bed that Burrow made too, because, you know, this is the type of comment I've heard Brady make. I've heard other players make, but, you know, Burrow partially made this bed too by insisting he be the highest paid QB, which, like, to RG's point, yeah, go get your bag when you can, but there has to be a fine line of like, okay, do I want to be the highest paid player or do I want to be a really good paid player on a championship caliber team? And, you know, it's a weighing of the options there, but you've seen, you know, Tom Brady do it. Mahomes is constantly taking less money, restructures his money to get people around him. And those are those championship type moves. Burrow just rode off of the fact of like, hey, I got you guys to a Super Bowl in this rookie deal. Pay me what I'm worth. I don't care if you have nothing else to pay around me. And that's what kind of the saga we've seen play out all offseason. I mean, they're pinching pennies over their guy that's had the most sacks in the NFL the last 3 years. And, you know, like spending a bunch of money on Orlando Brown Jr. that they think is going to be their answer. And I could have told you not. And then it's, you know, let's pay to keep these 2 receivers in, but who cares who's going to block for our guys? So, like I said, there got to be serious concern about what Burrow looks like coming back and how healthy they can keep him for the rest of his career. And off of that, serious concern about how this Bengals roster can remain competitive moving forward with just their salary restraints and where that money is at.
Well, just give you a quick number. Those three players account for 33% of their cap.
Yeah, I mean, that might as well be 90%.
Might as well be 90. When three
That's a
players
lot,
are
man.
a third of your cap, that is.
I saw a tweet.
absolutely-
This is just funny, but I saw a tweet that was like, there's 3 million obese people in America, and the Bengals couldn't find 5 of them to block for Joe Burrow.
I did see that one
that.
too.
I was like, that's so savage, but so
That is-
true.
Hey, I was available, and I would have brought my cart, my scooter, my cane, and everything, and I could have been
Yeah.
had for $1 million a year.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. But it's but like I said, that's the bed that they all made. So
To your point about the Twitter meme with that, I still remember the one that got put out before that Jamar Chase draft, and it's like
he's
Jamar throwing to Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase on his back, Burrow throwing to anybody with who was it?
Someone like-
Sewell. Yeah.
yeah.
He's like, I got this. This is what happens, Bengals fans. We tried to warn you.
Right. Yeah, there was actually discussing that on some sports talk radio show I was listening to, and they were saying that let's just do full-on hindsight here and looking back at it. The Bengals should have taken Penei Sewell with that pick instead of taking Jamar Chase. And you had a stalwart left tackle to block for him for his entire career. Oh, and they could have had, instead of taking Jamar in that situation, they could have had Nico Collins and Amon-Ra St. Brown in later part of that draft. And they had 2 good receivers. Still, on top of the fact that and having a stalwart left tackle. So, yeah, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. But I'm also seeing a growing trend about how, quote unquote, I guess you can say GMs are opting for weapons over protection. They're doing a lot of flashy things, especially in Miami. Like he drafts a running back and a wide receiver practically every year, and don't bother to draft linemen with a slow, immobile quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. So I'm feeling like people are going that route, and it needs to be dialed back, because if your quarterback, much to the point we talk about Joe Burrow and a few others, JJ McCarthy and a few other guys that are hurt now, Justin Fields and concussion protocol and so forth, you have to look at it from a perspective of, yeah, it's nice to put up numbers and nice to have weapons and nice shiny cars, but if you got a garage to put it in, what's
it's like being in that government housing with the Bugatti out front,
Right, you're right. Like
Just,
they got the Lambo with this car tent over it.
Just to drive it home, Coach, I just kind of quickly looked at their draft classes here just throughout 2020s, so the Joe Burrow era. They have spent 2 picks in the top 4 rounds on offensive linemen.
See what I'm saying?
One of them being Mims, who was like the most ass project tackle possible.
Right.
Did
Terrible.
you say ass? Oh my goodness!
Ass.
Yes.
As.
Oh,
That's how bad.
Z's.
Yeah. ACZ.
As.
ACZ.
As okay, I'm sorry, my hearing's bad. I'm old. There you go.
So let me ask this question before we move on to the next topic. So do you believe that based upon when Joe Burrow comes back, and we're talking December, right? So there'll be essentially, 2/3 of the season will be done. Do you think it's even worth for him playing anymore this season?
Hell no.
No,
I think that's what I said. We'll see where they're at. I mean, if they can.
The only reason that the Bengals are not 0-2 currently is because the Browns are still cursed at kicker and Trevor Lawrence and the Jags suck. How the hell do you have 3 turnovers against Jake Browning and you can't win? That is, I'm sorry, no, there's no debate here. For all the T-Law defenders, that is inexcusable.
Yeah. I love him. I love
He
him.
hates him.
He really does. So it's
I mean, just doing a rough math of 3 months. I mean, they'd really only have 2 games left at that point. So,
yeah, we're talking the Ravens game on the 14th. They got 4 games left. It'll be 4 games before 4 games. The Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns on the games that we have left. They'll likely be out of the playoffs already. So yeah,
4 wins. They could be 6 and whatever then.
yeah, and I mean, at that point, if they're in the playoff picture, then that means Jake Browning's playing decent football, and then you got a Footsteps Falco and the other guy battle. Who do we put back in?
Footsteps Falco.
I don't remember the other QB's name, but
Sean Clifton, I think.
yeah, whatever his name was.
Footsteps Falco. That's funny. That's funny.
Footsteps Falco. This guy here's dead.
Right. We'll cross him off.
Sorry, we do at least one movie reference in a show. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yes, yeah, I think that it's just a point at this point. Just sit him, pick high in the draft. Go get you 2 linemen in the first 2 rounds and
shut
call
him
it
down. Fired Zach Taylor.
Right. Start over.
Over. Trade Hendrickson right now.
You're right.
Crazy that I mean.
Yeah, I know. I bet he's wondering, like, damn, why did I sign that extension? Because I could have just sat on my laurels and trade and been able to play with a contender. Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a bad one.
Trade him to Dallas right now.
Right, that'll be hilarious.
Here's all the picks I got from Micah. Look at that. I turned it into Trey.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, yes indeed. Well, speaking of injured quarterbacks, let's talk about JJ McCarthy. So JJ McCarthy, on top of the fact that he's hurt now for 2 to 4 weeks potentially, out of 8 quarters, 7 of them he looked pretty bad, gentlemen. So, and I want to say arguing, but I was discussing earlier at work in regards to Kevin O'Connell's genius, right? And I think we both came to the consensus that if you can't play quarterback for Kevin O'Connell, you can't play quarterback. So, do we think that at this point, with a 2-game sample size, that it might be fool's gold for JJ McCarthy? I'll start with you, young RG. What do you think about JJ McCarthy's performances in the first 2 weeks?
Well, after week 1, we were like, all right, he's still a quote unquote rookie, hasn't played any regular season NFL games, looked awful through 3 quarters, but division opponent on the road, put together some plays, got his team to a win. We're like, okay, those are some, rough start, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And he finished that game looking like, all right, we're good. And then this week happened.
Yeah.
And the Bears got 52 dropped on their heads.
Yeah.
And JJ McCarthy got rocked by a very formidable Falcons defense. And now Vikings fans are kind of like, we should have kept Sam Darnold because Sam's looking pretty good over in Seattle.
Week 2 he did. He had a rough week 1. Yeah, week 1 was a little rough, but week 2 he definitely shined.
Right. And with a severely worse supporting cast, and that's not to say that it's, all horrible in Seattle, but compared to what they got there in Minnesota, it's not even close.
Right.
So this is a rough predicament here for JJ McCarthy to be in, because who's their backup now? Carson Wentz?
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
MV
man.
Revenge tour for Carson Wentz.
You know how we were saying at the beginning of the year, this might be the best division in football and all 4 teams might have a chance at making the playoffs?
It's now looking different now, ain't it? Looking funny in the light, ain't it?
Packers might steamroll and walk away with
got
this.
Micah Parsons, though. Let's just
That's true.
but
it's also before we
your
saw it's also before we saw the Bears and the Vikings play a game of football.
That's that part too. Yes.
So yeah, it's rough for Minnesota fans right now.
Absolutely. All right, Captain Jack, what do you think about JJ McCarthy and his putrid play? I'm going to call it that.
Well, I mean, and you said it, Coach. He's played 8 quarters of his NFL life, because last year he was out.
Right.
He played 8 quarters, and if it wasn't for the 4th quarter against the Bears, where he lit it up, he's trash. But again, all of these people folks, it's week 2.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Take a chill pill, a Valium, a Xanax, whatever your flavor of chilling out is.
Viagra. Oh, that's wrong medicine.
Whatever.
That'll chill you out. That heats you up.
Dust,
makes it worthwhile.
whatever you're into.
I'm just saying. And there are a lot. There's 17 games.
Well, not for him, because he's gonna be hurt for 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
Probably.
there's about 12 for him.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I'm saying for people to just there's 15 more games in the season for each and every team. And I'll get with it on the hot takes, some things about that. It's early. But, it's funny that you have Carson. You have to figure out who the backup quarterbacks are. Because it's like, who is the backup? Browning. with the Bengals, Carson Wentz with the Vikings. And, and we had to look at it, Mariota for the Commanders / Redskins / whoever, makes things different. You got to see who those backups are and how they fit the team.
Agreed. Good point. Great point. Okay. All right, AG, what you got on JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, man. I'll say for a lot of these second-year QBs, it hasn't really outside of one in New England, there hasn't been a whole lot of seeing considerable growth from year one to year two. I think that there should be some expected step back for the Vikings if you're a Vikings fan, knowing like, hey, we're moving on from a somewhat established QB who's been in several NFL systems, has familiarity with our head coach, like to a guy that is coming from, was kind of a game manager at Michigan. And yeah, well, I was trying to be nice. So I think Vikings fans were a little spoiled with how last year went. And, I don't think we're objectively looking at how their season can start. I still think that there's room to have confidence in JJ McCarthy, especially with the supporting cast he has. And I think some of it too is they're trying to figure out what they can and can't do with their quarterback. Cause the week one game, I'm like, it just didn't even seem like they were trying to scheme things up to make him comfortable or like what he's good at from what you saw at Michigan. And then you get to this Falcons game and it's some of the same on top of, they just weren't blocking for him. He got sacked 6 times.
Yeah.
And now it comes out after that they're in this day and age, who knows how if any of it's true or not. But there was stuff I've seen coming out after the game that O'Connell was considering pulling him, and Jefferson told him not to, because if you do that, you can't come back from that. So then it's like, part of me is wondering, like, well, is he really like this messed up to this ankle sprain would make him miss games, or are they thinking like, here's a prime opportunity for you to be out for a little bit? It's not, guys, as we're pulling you so you can kind of regather yourself and you come back after the bye, recharged and ready to go.
Yes.
I don't know. But yeah, I think there's still room to have confidence in McCarthy. And like I said, I think Vikings fans are just a little spoiled with how last year went. Because, quite arguably, last year should have not gone the way that it did, because the guy they were planning to be their starting QB got hurt and they threw Sam Darnold out there and it just happened to work. But that's not a recipe for success. Like, that's not a model NFL teams are following. So I think just going into this year, Vikings fans are a little, like I said, just a little unrealistic at how they thought the start of the season would go, especially with just how competitive their division is. But out of some of these other sophomore QBs, I have more confidence in JJ than the other ones figuring it out.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit of a hot take, because that draft class was stacked. I think Michael Penix is looking pretty good, from my opinion.
Hey, yep. Thanks, Coach. I was going to say that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, of course, Jaden Daniels. He's hurt right now. Maybe not going to play on Sunday against the Raiders. But outside of that, I think that Caleb still got some figuring out to do. So Drake May. Bo Nix is looking a little bit of a taking a little bit of a regression step, but yeah, we'll see how things flow. But I guess I should have said it was with you guys, of a wait and see perspective, but this is what is kind of curious to me, is that if Carson Wentz, because again, I just started off the segment by saying that Kevin O'Donnell gets the best out of his quarterbacks. Hell, he ran Jaren Hall and Josh Dobbs and Kirk Cousins and a myriad of other quarterbacks out there and still won games a couple of years ago, right? So if Carson Wentz hypothetically does well in these next 2 to 4 games, right? Do you have a quarterback controversy on your hands? Do you use that time to air quote, especially if they go 4-0? Do you use that time to kind of let JJ sit, gather himself, kind of did what Bryce Young and David Canales did last year, kind of gather himself and let him get it together, and then when it's time to put him back out there, you feel confident in it, do you do it then? Is it about winning now, or are you building? What is Kevin O'Connell's mindset? That's something to probably kind of think about in regards to what's going to happen in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen, but I think you need to give them time. I think they everybody has this microwave mentality of these quarterbacks got to be great now, and it just doesn't happen that way. It's a lot of differences in the nuances of the NFL versus college and high school. That's for me speaking from personal experience.
Hey, Coach, wasn't it the old adage that you don't lose your job due to an injury?
That used to be it. That used to be, but some people have lost their job due to injury.
Some people had their whole career taken over somewhat from an injury. No, not their whole career.
Carson Wentz lost a job due to injury.
Right.
Tyrod Taylor got stabbed in the lung by a doctor, and
he lost
If we're going to Wally Pipp people, if we're going to, dare I say, Tom Brady people.
Wally Pipp?
Remember Wally Pipp? Tom Brady got it.
You know Wally Pipp's story?
I don't.
He played first base for the Yankees until he was out one day, and then
Lou Gehrig came in and never left until he was
the Iron Man himself. Never left.
Come on, Coach. You know I'm going to knowledge.
I'm sorry. I'm not a big baseball guy.
Well, Bill Belichick also told that to Wes Welker after Edelman returned to punt or something. He's like, "Ever heard of Wally Pipp?"
Oh wow, that's funny.
On the sideline.
That's funny. That is funny. Belichick is a savage for sure.
Hey, RG, did you know who Wally Pipp was? I got to ask.
I did not know before you had just mentioned that.
I'm a baseball guy, Cap. So
yeah, I get it, but that's an important person to know. It is.
I know it now. I'm gonna have that one stored in the back of my mind.
You got Wally Pipp
because I didn't know who that Wally Pipp was either. I'm
first baseman, 1911 Yankees. Look it up, dude.
Wow.
Thank you, Alex.
6 homers.
Fun fact of the day.
Beat his wife 3 times.
You learn something new every day. Hey, whoa.
Easy. Okay, good stuff. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with Carson Wentz and the Vikings going forward, and what's going to happen to JJ once he is healthy and upright. And I think somebody mentioned that is it a real injury or is it a ruse? That's gonna be interesting too. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting too.
And they put Aaron Jones on the IR too.
Yeah, I saw that. RJ, do you remember real quick? Do you remember the asinine takes people had about trading for JJ McCarthy a couple of years ago?
Oh my God.
For Justin Herbert of all people?
Well, that's just because that was your coach's guy in college. I mean, that's the only reason they made that.
Yeah, how you feel about that now?
Yeah, I think that even then at the time that argument was so stupid because it's like if he wanted to coach JJ McCarthy, he would have just gone to one of those teams. He would have gone to the Falcons and drafted him. Like that's literally what would have happened. So for everybody, like, and I know obviously Alex wasn't saying it, but for everybody that was saying that, like, clearly that was never going to happen. Like, you don't go to the Chargers with that star quarterback who just got that much money and ship him off. Like, just burn the franchise down at that point. Why don't you?
Really? For sure. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
He said shift. Oh, for those that are hard of hearing, I just want to make sure.
I talk with a little bit of a lisp, so it's a little hard for me sometimes.
Stop it, Robert. Stop it.
That is funny. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about some teams that have gotten off to some rough starts. Let's talk about some teams that have entered into the danger zone. I think that's a song. They're from
Top Gun. Kenny Loggins.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. Hooking it up for the Navy guy there. There you go. Appreciate that.
There you go. So some teams into the danger zone in 2025 and starting off 0-2. Now, it's not as much of a taboo conversation now as it used to be with 16 games. 17 games is a little bit different, but used to be teams that started 0-2 in a 16-game season very rarely, if ever, made the playoffs.
It's like 12%.
Yeah, I got this stat for you, Coach, because since 2000, the year 2000, there's been 209 teams to start the season 0-2, and only 22 of them have gone on to make the playoffs.
Wow!
And since the Super Bowl era of the 451 teams that started 0-2, only 4 of them have made the Super Bowl. So
wow.
Do you know who those 4 are, or did your stats not go that far? Oh, all right,
that's where I stopped.
That's where it stops.
He's trying to be teacher's pet, getting all of these stats for the show.
I might have had them for a certain coverage of my own team who might fit into this category. I'm surprised you're not throwing that in my face right now.
Right.
When you got that quarterback, it's hard to say you're doomed, even at 0-2.
Yeah, I know.
So real quick, I will go around the room again and we'll talk about these 0-2 teams. So I'm going to list them real quick. We've got the Jets are 0-2, the Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns, the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants, the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and the Carolina Panthers are all 0-2. So out of those teams, who do you think is in the most danger in regards to the starting 0-2 to, maybe or maybe not revitalize their season? I'm gonna start with Alex because I'm sure he is the chomping at the bit to talk about this topic. So,
oh yeah,
who do you think is in that list of teams that's in the most danger of the season going into the toilets?
I mean, I'd argue and say all of them not named the Chiefs or Texans.
Stop it! You're taking my stuff.
Okay, sorry. I figured you would say my team would be screwed.
Shut up.
But yeah, I mean, I think the Saints are just continuing what their game plan was per young RG's inside all off season. I don't see the Panthers really turning it around. Bears, I don't see turning around. I mean, all those teams have significant questions outside of the two I mentioned to start it off. So, I think the rest of those squads are right where we kind of thought they would be at this point of the season, or just outlook of the season as a whole. And, the Texans and the Chiefs are probably, maybe not for you guys because of your internal biases, but they're the Chiefs and Texans are certainly in uncharted waters from probably where people just thought they would be to start the year. But that being said, for the Chiefs, they have a tough schedule. They had a tough opener, tough week 2. Some of these other teams did not have tough schedules and still looked bad. So
bad.
Just bad. But yeah, really, I think the Chiefs and Texans will figure things out. And some of that may be just saying that is my own internal fandom. But at the same time, if we do talk about the game, or if not, check my video recapping the Chiefs game. But they're in a better spot than some of these other squads that are in the same vein. I look at the Chiefs as kind of like that Magic Johnson interview where he's, they're in the room with the rest of the 0-2 teams, be like, yeah, I'm not going to be here.
That's cool.
What are you going to do with your high draft pick? I'm not going to be here.
You're going to fire today. I got to give you credit. You're going to fire today. You ate your Wheaties this morning or something. Something happened good for you. Yes, indeed. All right. So, Captain Jack, what is your take on these 0-2 teams? Who do you think is in the most danger?
Actually, and you read the list out, and I'm trying to listen, and you said Texans, Titans, Chiefs, and there was another team there. There
Bears.
were 4 teams. What?
Bears.
No. They're
Dolphins, Jets.
Dolphins,
No,
Jets.
they're toast.
Giants.
They're toast.
Panthers.
They're toast.
Saints.
Yeah, no, they're toast.
That's it. That's all the team. The rest of them are
Apologies.
butter and toast.
I misremembered as the great gentleman. Never mind. It's a baseball reference. You won't get it. The 3 that you don't have to worry about that should make a solid bounce back is Texans, Titans, and Chiefs. I mean, the other guys,
Titans. What?
They Texans, Titans, and Chiefs. Okay, they don't suck. They don't suck. It's like you're not going to have County go, oh no, we suck again. No, the other people that are on that list, they suck. Okay, to quote Dennis Green, may he rest in happiness as well.
Ooh,
they are who we thought they were. So go ahead and crown them. Those teams sucked.
Okay.
So you got to draft those, or not refs. See, boy, I'm all discombobulated tonight. Coach, it's those 3 are nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about.
Okay. Young RG, what is your take on it? Who has the most to worry about in these 0-2 teams?
Man, I'm going against the grain on this one. I think the Texans have a lot to be worried about.
I agree. You stole my take.
I'm kind of shocked that AG and Cap kind of just put him in the not worried category. I think that offense, and I think CJ Stroud in particular. And this is not, a lot of people are going to come out, oh, you're just a salty Chargers fan. You don't want anything to say good about. If you watch film side by side of CJ Stroud in his rookie year, comparing it to last year and the first 2 games of this season, he is not the same player. You're fooling yourselves if you're thinking that.
Agreed.
He is missing a lot. Turn on that Buccaneers game. He is missing easy targets. He had, he had Dalton Schultz wide open in the end zone. I'm sorry, not Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Overshot him twice.
Yep.
That is awful. And for a team, they have a fantastic defense. That is what is going to keep them in, and the fact that they're
That's
in
pretty much why I said that, and that they're in the AFC South.
Right. Yeah.
Like
So
2 reasons why I didn't think they were worried that bad.
Right. I mean, in regards to that,
Don't call me an idiot.
Well, I mean,
yeah. I was gonna say, look at the division, schmuck. Okay, they're
the Colts are 2-0. Hey, Danny Dimes is second in the passing yards category. All right, they look pretty damn good. No,
Daniel Dimes,
Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones. No, look.
Yeah,
but on the real,
you'll be done in the next segment for the hot takes. Keep it going.
On the real, I like, as far they can win 9-10 games, like, but I feel like CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, they're in that point in their careers now where simply making the playoffs isn't enough. Like, you have to go further in the playoffs. They haven't been further than the divisional round. Now, obviously, it's still a very young career for Stroud. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but that is the next step that needs to be taken. And this team, for right now, what I'm seeing does not look like they've taken a step forward towards that. It looks like they've taken a step back, actually. And so they may be good wins wise, but as far as what they were expecting and what, maybe their fans expected of them, I think they are going to fall short of that.
Yeah, I agree, because it's not only the fact that they're playing bad offensively. CJ Stroud does not look good mechanically. His footwork is bad. He's throwing off the wrong foot. Like I said, and that's causing a lot of inaccurate throws. And I think it's really boiling down to the idea. If you're taking his 3 years of his career so far, he trusted his O-line in year 1 completely, and that's why he had a lot of success. He didn't trust anybody outside of Larry Tunsil last year. And what did they do? Ship Larry Tunsil out. And now he doesn't trust his O-line at all, which is making him have Happy Feet in the pocket, in all honesty.
They shipped the pot smoking gas mask tackle out?
They did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They traded.
No, I just wanted to drop the reference of the gas mask wearing tackle. That's his
legend, draft legend.
Yeah,
there you go. So yeah, I think that's the biggest issue with when it comes down to the Texans and their ability to, one, they can't run a ball for anything. That's problem number one, which they hung their hat on that in the past 3 years. Giving CJ a strong running game and him allowing to pass and do intricate things off of their run game. Now they can't run the ball, even with a Nick Chubb who's looks like more like himself than he has in the past 2 years. And the fact that they got all these receivers out there, even minus Christian Kirk and minus Tank Dell, they still got a bunch of weapons, including good tight end, and they still can't seem to move the ball. I really think the Texans are really, looking, down the barrel of the idea that they could, if they do make the playoffs, just by virtue of having a bad division, they're going to get out in the first round by anybody that's a playoff team. And I'm looking at their schedule, and like, they got the Ravens in a couple of weeks after 2 divisional games. Seahawks gonna give them a go. 49ers look good. Broncos defense is gonna give them problems. The Bills down the line on the 20th of November. That's a big one. They have the Chiefs the week after the Colts game, and they got the Chargers second to the last game of the season. So yeah, it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy if they're gonna be playing football this well, in my opinion. But yeah, I think the Texans are really the ones that should be sounding an alarm at this point. A serious team that have good talent that should be winning football games at this point. They're not. Side note for me, I'm disappointed in the Bears and the Panthers, because I had high hopes they would turn the corner, but they're not. But but I would definitely put the Texans higher on the list of panic for me than those 2 teams.
I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
I apologize. I said, I think the operative word for me, and maybe it's because I'm into semantics like the lawyer is doomed. doomed. When you throw out a word like doomed, you
Yeah.
know, just saying that word just says, "Oh, you have no chance in hell. You're going to have a crappy season. You're going to be below 500." So
Yeah.
semantically
Yeah,
is why I said that the teams that I listed, they're not doomed. And again, I just for all people out there as to why I took the take I took. I know that's hard.
I like it. That's good. That's a good explanation, Cal. I like that.
I will very, very quickly. I just want to say regarding the Texans as well that this was kind of the thought of them last season about how, you know, they're going to win that division by default. There'll be a first round knockout in the playoffs. And the only reason they weren't is because they went up against the one team in which their biggest weakness completely overpowered the team's greatest weakness. Or sorry.
Greatest strength.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Their greatest strength overpowered the team's greatest weakness. And they just had a great matchup. But, you know, the questions surrounding the Texans have been there for a bit. And if they continue on this track, obviously I think they pick it up a bit, but they continue on this route, it's not going to be looking good.
Does he have a new OC? Stroud?
Yeah, Bobby Slowik.
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah, last year he was with them last year, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Because I wonder what too is some of it is like, because I agree. I mean, there is a stark difference from how he looked his rookie year to now, and even last year, but it's been going down every year. And I wonder how much of it is like, one, changing the coordinator, but two, like his rookie year, I'm sure the offense was way more dumbed down. Like he didn't have freedom to do stuff that he probably has now. And so I just kind of wonder, like, I wonder how much of that is just, how much of it falls directly to Stroud. Like this, they gave him all this freedom to do all this stuff and he just can't analyze it that way or not. You know, I don't, it's interesting though.
Yeah, he's doing the complete opposite of what most quarterbacks do. They say most quarterbacks figure it out by year 3, and he's regressing at year 3. That's a weird dynamic. It really is a weird dynamic for sure. So we'll see how things go, man. But yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on the Texans, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, so moving on, and we're going to keep talking quarterbacks. Let's talk about some old faces and new places. Some teams that have veteran quarterbacks that have success in new places. So that would be your Russell Wilson. That would be your Daniel Jones. And RG, who's the third guy we talked about?
Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers the third. So
Darnold even.
And Cap, Cap waved his hand at Aaron Rodgers. So I'm gonna let you go first, Cap. So what do you think about that particular list of folks? And you know, who do you think is going to have the most sustained success in their new place?
Oh, you're muted.
Apologies, you know, especially if I'm gassy tonight. No, I'm just kidding. See, I can come up with them even when I can't. So you have Wilson and Rodgers, Jones
and Darnold.
Yep.
I actually think that that Jones and Darnold have probably the highest up of those people, because the other two guys, first off, they're just old and rickety. And their teams are not all that in the biscuit. But Darnold can take a decent Seahawks team and make them some shout in the NFC West. And, you know, being that Danny Dimes is now Indiana Jones, you know, he has a great opportunity to have that second, you know, a rebirth there. I mean, hell, and yeah, I'm going to drop some stuff. Is the who is Jim Plunkett when he was on the Patriots, and then he went to the Niners, and then he went to the Raiders, and he was backing up Dan Pastorini. But when given the right opportunity with the right team, he's a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback and should be in the Hall of Fame. Damn it! It's a matter of getting the right opportunity at the right time, and I think that Jones is still young enough and has a decent presence to do it. And I also think that Darnold, his is what, 15, something like that.
Panthers,
right.
Niners. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
damn.
You know, and he got paid, and good for him too. So I think that those two guys have an opportunity. Wilson and, you know, the peyote smoking whatever dude that wants to go and be gone for 6 weeks. He's already gone anyway. I'm sorry. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan.
Yeah,
But,
me both. I'm not a fan either.
Yeah. So I think that Jones and Darnold for sure.
Okay. All right, RG, what you got over there? Who you have your eye on as far as having the most success out of this group?
Yeah, this is a really interesting group. I think especially because they're all at really different points in the season right now, only being 2 weeks in. You got Daniel Jones at 2-0. Probably out of these four of the quarterbacks, if you would have given me this list of four quarterbacks before the season and you would have told me one of these guys will start 2-0, I think Daniel Jones probably would have been the last person on my list that I would say, oh yeah, they'll start 2-0. Russell Wilson Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold both 1-1. And I think it's a very different 1-1, especially because they just played each other. And it's definitely kind of the contrast there. I think the Steelers can only be happy with the production they're getting from Aaron Rodgers. Flip side, they did not expect their defense to just completely flip overnight and completely just. I mean, I don't even know what I'm watching. Like, that doesn't even look like a Steelers defense that I'm used to seeing coached by Tomlin.
Or the kickoff, man. Like, to not even know the rule on that. It just
we can do
touchdown. Yeah,
we could do a whole show on Caleb Johnson. I think he might have just played himself out of that team, and he's only a rookie. But going back to the Steelers defense, I mean, giving up back-to-back 30-point games. I mean, God, when's the last time that's happened?
I can't remember.
So to wrap it all up in a nice bow, I think. And then, of course, Russell Wilson 0-2. I do think that Sam Darnold, and I'm going to agree with Cap here, I think Sam Darnold and Danny Dimes have the best chances to succeed and continue this success that they've already sort of found. Obviously, Daniel Jones a little bit more. But I do think they have, this is easily the best team Daniel Jones has ever been around. Can't say the same for Sam Darnold, but a lot of people were already under the impression that he's not going to do anything without those, without Justin Jefferson and without those bona fide weapons.
They're writing them off.
Yeah, they're already writing them off. Exactly. If I had a nickel for every time a Seattle quarterback got written, no, I won't go into all that, but
right.
But yeah, I do think that I'm going to go with the two young guys that I just think their teams and potentially even their divisions as well are a little bit easier than what Rodgers and what Wilson would have to face.
I like it. Me personally, I'm still not a believer in Daniel Jones. I'm not yet. I mean, I'm gonna have to see more than what he's done. And we talked about it earlier in our Ask the Ref segment about how they could ultimately be 1-1 with that kick call. So yeah, I'm although he's looked great as a quarterback, it's nothing he did to lose the game, but I got to see more. I'm more banking on what Mike McDonald and what they got brewing in Seattle with Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones and the rest of the crew, because I'm sure Russell Wilson's looking over his shoulder at Jackson Dart like, if I screw up one good time, I'm out of here. And
they already put Dart out there for
a for a player too. So yeah, it's coming. They're coming.
Inching their way towards
Wilson definitely bought himself another game or two with that performance.
He did, and it worked perfect because he got two tough games coming up, and they get the Saints in Week 5. I'm telling you, if he struggles in both of those games, Week 5, we're gonna see Jackson Dart against the Saints. I'm telling you, that's a perfect time to throw him out there. Perfect time. But yeah, I think that Sam Darnold has the highest ceiling in regards to this new face, new place ideology. So I'm gonna go roll with that. All right, AG, bring us home, man. What do you got on that? Anything new? Anything hot takey that that might be different than what we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, nothing new or too spicy or off of what you guys have said, but I would echo. I mean, what everyone said, and I think the two that you can have the most faith in are Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, just from the division they're in, schedule, supporting cast, and just that the other two are stopgap guys. I mean, and Aaron Rodgers is just collecting a check until he decides he's done playing. He's halfway out the door anyways. I mean, Daniel Jones certainly been the surprise of the year so far. I mean, he's doing crap that a QB in Indy hasn't done since Peyton Manning, which is just crazy to say. in and of itself, and it's even crazier that it's Daniel Jones doing it.
That's
But I echo the same restraints you do, Coach, in that, I mean, we've seen this from him before in little glimpses of hope.
Spurs.
Granted, not to this degree where he's just dropping dimes.
Living up to his name.
And, and not against what a lot of people consider a pretty top elite defense in the league. But he always comes back down to earth. So,
right.
We'll see. Is this finally the right place, right landing spot? I mean, how this season goes for Daniel Jones will be a true testament and evidence of if that's an actual thing, like just ending up in the right place with the right personnel. Because if they're successful, win the South, make it in the playoffs, and Daniel Jones is their starter the whole year, I mean, that point's proven right there, because can't get much worse than to turn someone around than what he's put on in his resume, up to this point. So,
hey, Jones can suck week 5. Williams can suck week 4. Those are 2 wins for the Raiders. I keep it easy, man. I know where these guys go.
Well, as long as Geno doesn't suck worse than them, that's all y'all need.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We will talk about that.
Fair enough. Okay. All right, so we'll see how they do, but I think we all can agree that Sam Darnold and maybe Danny Dimes will have the biggest upside with their new teams. Okay. All right, so let's get into our segment called Cover Forecast. We'll do some NFL predictions. We'll do a quick segment called Stock Up, Stock Down. Going around the room real quick, tell me who is rising and falling in your eyes and why. Let's start with the real AG, Alex Givens. Who is from an NFL player or team is their stock is up or stock is down for you, and why is that through 2 weeks of the season?
Man, I would say stock down, I guess, just to beat my own team down a little bit. It has to be the Chiefs. Just to start 0-2, you're the only winless team in your division. And,
Wow.
It's just in uncharted waters that they haven't really found themselves in. And as a fan watching these last 2 games, like still a championship caliber team to play as crappy as they did against the defending Super Bowl champs and still, be their own mistakes away from winning. But you see a lot of the same mistakes in these first 2 weeks. They just don't have a running game. Teams know that, and it's just not looked good for a lot of their games. So, as long as they beat the Giants, then I think things will be trending in the right way. But,
okay.
Heading into that Sunday night game, their stock's definitely got to be down. And then I think a team with their stock rising a little bit after week 2 here, I'd have to say, and maybe this is just to point out my own hot take from last week where I did say I thought the Bears would beat the Lions. That was absolutely not the case, but I think we saw more of that gritty Dan Campbell Lions team that we didn't see in week 1. And I think they're riding the ship of what we've been saying, and a lot of people have been saying all off season, that they're going to be bad. They're losing their coordinators. They're not going to be the same team. And yeah, I know it was the Bears, but they still, they dumped on them pretty good. And, in some of their traditional Ben Johnson-esque ways. So I think that their stock certainly back on the rise, based on how week 1 looked compared to week 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Captain Jack, who you got from a stock up, stock down perspective on your side?
Well, first off, I thought that I didn't realize that there was I said hot takes, and I saw that. I said, oh, that's what we're talking about. Then I didn't go through the slides as well. So my bad on this one. I had my hot takes ready, so I'm gonna be like screwed for that. How many slides are in this subject there, shipmate? So I can know how much more.
We got game of the
Just
week.
fire off your hot takes now, Cap.
Okay, screw it. I'm going for it.
We'll find a way to stock up, stock down.
Hey, yeah, F this, okay? I'm going to give you some hot takes, okay? I'm sorry.
You had them ready. You've prefaced them like multiple times. We got to give the people what they want.
Right.
Okay, hot takes. First off, for those that are wondering, the Raiders lost the game last night because their offensive line sucked. Not because of officiating, although that did play some important roles. The offensive line can't open holes and they can't protect Geno Smith. You're not going to win games. Okay, they played well the first week. They played like arse, or I think Alex was saying as they played like ass. Okay, so there's a hot. So there, I said it. Okay, I don't run away from stuff. I was there. I witnessed it. But the officiating did.
So to tailor this for the segment, you'll be stocked down on the O line and the Raiders. Win total because of the O-line's play. Okay.
Because the O-line sucks.
See, look, told you we could figure out a way to stock up.
Thank you. Another hot take is the best job in the NFL I noticed last night is Mark.
Oh, no.
He froze mid-point.
The whole show. We don't have.
Froze mid-point.
It's like
you lose? Did I lose you?
Yeah,
coming back. We got you back.
You're back.
All right. All we heard was best job.
I saw the spinning circles of death, and I said, "Oh shit! I got to get that one.
The best job.
I got to get that one." Yeah, the best job. I had you. The best job is Marshawn Lynch with a media pass, with the vest, with a camera.
Yes.
He gets into games for free. He asks the people that take pictures how to do the job, okay? And, that's great. So he doesn't have to pay crap to get into games. On-the-job training. Yeah. And then any pictures that he does take, he can sell because this is a Lynch. This is a Lynch, He just put his name behind it. So that gets there.
Stock up. Marshawn Lynch players.
Yes, sir.
There you go. And this is not NFL related, but I have to put this in here because I was at the fight the other night. Canelo versus Crawford, and I did pick Crawford before the fights to win. I swear I have it on tape somewhere. Okay, but you saw. This is a stock down moment for Canelo. It was later in the fight when Crawford hit him and Canelo just kind of like dropped his arms, looked to the side, and it was his no moss moment.
It was.
He was trying to get money. Yeah. I ain't doing this anymore. So stock down to Canelo. You threw, you finished, you washed up. There you go.
That's gonna fight Jake Paul next.
Right. Exhibition
in 5 years.
Right.
I'll give a quick since we're on the boxing topic, I'll give a quick stock up to Carl Crawford because that man is just there's nobody more deserving to take the champ belt from Canelo. Obviously myself being of Mexican descent, Canelo is like damn legend. Seriously. Julio Cesar Chavez and it's Canelo are like those are the two deities in Mexican boxing.
Mexican. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a little tough.
Well, Garcia.
But yeah, I just had to give Crawford his praise. Nobody deserves it more. Man is a true fighter. Very, very happy for the sport that he won it.
Yeah, I want to fight Bob Arum figuratively because he screwed his ability to get big game fights early in his career with Top Rank. If we will be talking about him in more of the annals of the all-time greats, if he had give him the fights that he wanted earlier in his career, he had to literally fight claw and nail to get the fights that he was supposed to get at the end of his career when he could have got him early in his career. But that's when crowd was spilled milk. But real quick, RG, give you a quick stock up, stock down before we move on to our games of the week.
Yeah, quick stock up, stock down. I mean, Raider Nation soldiers took it from me. Dolphins have to be just massive, massive stock down, man. Absolutely. First loss you've suffered to New England in Miami. The locker room is gone. Mike McDaniel's probably going to be the first coach fired from any team this year. And that's crazy considering there's some pretty bad coach. Bryce Callahan is currently, or Brian Callahan is still currently a coach. So the fact that he's not going to be the first one fired is mind-boggling. But stock down on the Dolphins. They're done, man. I could get into it about Tua and everything there, but fire sale incoming. So contenders,
come on
the lookout.
Tyreek to the Chiefs.
I knew you were going to say something.
That.
Bring him
you
home.
love that.
Hell no.
Yeah.
And for a stock up for me, I got to go with my hometown team, man. Got to go with the Chargers. I mean, 2-0 against division teams. We said it at the start of the year, facing every team in the division the first 3 weeks of the season. It's going to be a very, very quick test to see what kind of team this is and how they're going to be performing this season. And they have certainly passed these first 2 tests with flying colors. Last one, and this it's going to be a big one. You're able to take this win against Denver. Your stock will be insanely up.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely Chargers doing very well and even exceeding the expectations I had for them, because at this point I had them at 1-1. So to see them at 2-0, very, very happy to see that.
Got it. All right. Well, real quick for me, stock up is for me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got to give Todd Bowles and that organization credit. I really do. I did not have them starting 2-0 at all. I actually had them starting 0-2.
Fake Pirates, get it right. Tampa Bay, fake Pirates.
Fake Pirates, according to Cap Jack. I'm sorry. I have to lend my expertise in that regard to the Saudi Pirate. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
But yes, the fake Pirates, and Todd Bowles and crew with Baker Mayfield, they definitely have showed out. Now, we'll say that it's going to be a little roughy sledding with them losing Kalijah Kancey, because he was the heart and soul with him and Vita Vea in that middle of that defense. But outside of that, they're playing really good football, man. And I don't see it not continuing. For sure. I'm definitely looking toward them, maybe, especially with the freaking Panthers disappointing me and breaking my heart. I think that and the Falcons losing their right tackle in their center. So I'm thinking that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably take the division again, if I had to predict it right now. So I'm definitely stock up with them. Ironically enough, it's weird for me to say this because they're undefeated, but I think it's a little bit of a stock down for me for the Eagles. I do not like how their offense is running. Even though they're 2-0, I really don't. I think that it's not great. It's not great. Granted, it's still early. Granted, they still have some things to figure out. They're definitely a new coordinator offensively for sure. But the pass rush to me is still an issue. They still got problems in that department, even with getting Zadarius Smith, who was very good in the run last game, but he wasn't a big time factor in the pass rush. I think their pass rush is a problem. I think the offense is kind of, stalled. A.J. Brown is going to throw a fit here some point soon because he can't get the ball. So, I just don't think you can rely on the tush push of Saquon Barkley for 15 more games, in my opinion. So they're going to have to figure some things out, because they don't. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening, because quiet as kept, the Rams are quietly winning football games and nobody's paying attention and winning them well. So I think that, and they got to face them this week, I believe. I think the Rams and Eagles do play this week.
Yeah. So NFC divisional rematch.
Yeah, so they can mess around and get embarrassed in Philly, and this is gonna be a true wake up call. It might be a hot take for me, but it could be a wake up call. And the Rams come there and put belt to ass. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a problem for Philly for sure.
Coach, I'm sorry, I have one alibi. You got me totally discombobulated. I did have a hot take to throw on as well. There will be a 2-0 team miss the playoffs, and there will be an 0-2 team make the playoffs.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
I think I know who your 2-0 team is to miss the playoffs, but
I know it's we kind of talked about.
Yeah. There you go.
I swear that was my hot take for the hot.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. All right. So let's predict the games of the week real quickly before we get out of here. We got 4 games on the docket here. Steelers at Patriots, and then ironically, that might be the only team that's favored. That's a road team. But we got that. We got Rams at Eagles. Eagles are favored. Broncos at Chargers, and Lions at Ravens. So, starting with the Steelers and Chiefs, and the Steelers are favored by 1.5 against the Patriots in Gillette Stadium in New England. Who do you have and why, young RG?
So I'm taking the Patriots in this one. I think taking 1.5 for the home team, taking that easily. And for a Steelers team that the defense is, I said it earlier in the show. This doesn't look like a Mike Tomlin coach defense.
It does not.
I mean, this unit is giving up big play after big play. Special teams are making mental errors. I mean, there's just, the offense is great, and Aaron Rodgers, they looked kind of shaky last week, but the week before that they looked pretty solid. But I think the Patriots, they lead the league in sacks currently. that middle of the interior D line where they invested a ton of money in this offseason. It's looking like money well spent so far.
It is. Milton is giving people problems out there.
Giving people, you want to talk about belt to ass? He is belt to assing every running back that he faces. Genty, oh my God, blanking right now.
Caleb Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Steelers running backs. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, I think Ramondre Stevenson, the running game may not be, the running game won't be great for the Patriots, but I think Drake May will lead this team and do enough to lead them to victory. Plus, you're giving me 1.5 at home. I like the Patriots in this one.
I don't know, because the run game has been money for people facing Steelers the first 2 weeks, if you think about it. So it might be even better situation for the Patriots to win by running the football, because it's been a revolving door from a running game perspective for the Steelers in the first 2 weeks, and I don't understand it. I know Derek Harmon hadn't played, but they still got other guys in the middle, Cam Hayward and Keanu Benson, to name a few. I can't understand why they keep getting ran on like this, but they getting dominated in the run game.
For Cam Ward to be demanding that money at the beginning, before the season started, and for now for that defense to look as bad as it does, that is not a great look for them at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yep, Cam Hayward, you got to do something about it, buddy. You definitely got to do something about it. All right, Captain Jack, what you got for the Steelers Patriots game?
Well, I got the Chowdas in an ultimate win. Chowda, go Chowda.
Okay.
Not go Chowda for me, but on this game, go Chowdas.
Okay. Right. Patriots, for people that don't know what the Chowdas
are. New England clam chowder.
That's right.
The red or the white?
I can never remember that.
We got some ignorant people out there if they don't know what a chowder is. Come on.
All right, AG, who you got?
I kind of echo the sentiments in the room. Steelers are coming off back-to-back games, giving up 30-plus points. And, I think Patriots are ascending every game at this point, at least from an offensive standpoint. So, yeah, I like the Patriots at home.
I'm with you. I'm gonna go 4 for 4. I think the Patriots definitely win at home.
Book it.
I don't know what's going on with the Steelers defense, but get Travion Henderson going, damn it. That's all right.
Seriously, dude. Yeah, exactly.
He must be on somebody's fantasy team.
Yes.
He's on mine.
He's doing good. He's on mine too. So yes, we need that. We need that. So yes. All right, so we're all on the Patriots. All right, cool. Rams and Eagles and Philly. And if Philly is favored by 3.5 in this game, we got RG.
That's insane. Give me Rams 3.5 easily. This is, I'm
just gonna piggyback on. I'm just gonna jump ahead and say I got
Rams. I'm not even being a hater, but
this is the easiest. You want to make money this week, y'all? Rams 3.5, because even if the Eagles do somehow pull this win out, they are not going to win by more than 3 points. So Rams.
I was gonna say no hate, and remember I'm from Philly as a kid, but if you got 3.5, and I think the Rams can actually win.
I agree too.
Oh,
I think they're going to win.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to win. Okay. All right, we're gonna just we know the Chargers Broncos game is going to go for 2 of us, so we'll give it to Cap and AG around who they taking in the Broncos Chargers game.
Ooh. You know what? This is obviously tough because I can't stand either friggin' team. This is
a tie.
Yeah, no. This is the game. I say I root for a neutron bomb so that you wipe out
damn
and all the fans, but the building stays. So you can
go for like a Bane type.
Neutron bomb.
Damn.
But if I have to go, I think the Broncos are going to be pissed that they lost by that technicality. Chargers obviously are a good team. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to win, but I know it's going to be a very close game. I don't know if the Chargers can pull it off by 2.5. I just like to pick winners, not the point. I'm not that guy, but I think that it's going to be a close game. Definitely give it if you're getting points, take the Broncos on that one.
Okay. What you got, AJ?
In the words of a former governor, go Chargers. No, but I think the Chargers win, mainly just because, like, I know you and I have talked about it, Coach. Maybe that was even today, but Chargers pass blocking, their pass protection, what they invested in their tackles, even missing one has been A1 on point. these first 2 games, and that's kind of where the Broncos. That's what makes them good on defense is getting that pressure, and
Right.
I think the Chargers have the answer to that. And I mean, we've seen kind of when that can be neutralized, how Broncos games can go. So I have faith in the Chargers continuing to build on what they've done to start the year and look pretty solid. I mean, to Cap's point, it's going to be a close game. It's an AFC West matchup. They might win by a point, but I I think they're going to win for sure.
Okay. Now I will preview a little bit what I'm going to say about on topic on the Electric Shot podcast, but I do think that what concerns me is our pass rush with Khalil Mack being out. Yes. And what also concerns me is Bo Nix running around because of that pass rush or lack thereof. And their secondary. I think their secondary is going to be the toughest we're going to see thus far in the first 3 games. So I'm worried about that in man coverage. Can we, get Keenan Allen, Leah McConkey, and Quentin Johnston free like we've been able to get? Game. That's a fact. Definitely got to run the ball. So if we can do it, we got to do it this game in order to be able to win the ball game. But you're
not going up against a crappy Raiders
secondary.
Right. Yes.
I will say this too, just to very quickly address it. We may see some different additions to the Chargers roster this week. We may see, a Tucker Fisk elevation. We may see a couple of tight ends. We may see a couple of tight ends. A lot of 12-man personnel coming out there. Just to echo what you said, Coach, this has to be the game where we establish a running game, because if Herbert is forced to throw 30 times this game, I do not love our chances.
I agree.
I thought Tucker Fisk was a porn star.
Oh, wow.
Okay. No, that's all right.
Moving on.
Right.
Okay.
Lions and Ravens.
We almost made it.
You're right.
So I'm going to take everyone I can, man.
Who you got Lions Ravens, RG?
Man, 5.5 is crazy.
It is.
Yeah,
give me Lions 5.5, man.
I agree. I'm taking the Lions and the points for sure.
That offense, you're gonna tell me that you got the Ravens winning by a full touchdown? No,
and the Ravens have been giving up points on defense. Period.
Yes.
No way in hell they were the Lions down that bad. No way.
I mean, they just gave up 17 to the Browns. So
yeah, but it's the Browns. Joe Flacco is. I mean, I don't even know what he's playing for anymore.
Right. So
I'm saying that's kind of a lot for the Browns.
Right. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying 17 is good for the Browns.
Yes, I completely agree.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm taking Lions points, man.
And in my homage to my hats, which I'm on the road and I can't even use it. Detroit.
That's right.
Victorio campeón. Detroit campeón.
There it is. So we're all on the Lions as well. Good stuff.
So are we on clean sweep on all of these except Broncos Chargers?
Yeah, I think I think that the Broncos are gonna they're gonna keep it closer.
Okay.
Fair enough. Good stuff. All right, so let's get to our hot takes quick. Although Cap leaked his already, like a bad government file.
Sorry, I screwed up the chart, man. I'm sorry. I went off kilter.
That's all good. So going around the room real quick, is there any hot takes that you guys want to give for the week that people might be shocked that might happen in week 3? AG, what you got over there? Anything?
I mean, I'm looking at the schedule here to think of kind of. Let's see who's already done me dirty. No, we've already talked about the Rams. That was kind of my one. I do think the Rams are going to go into Philly and. We're going to have a different way we look at the Eagles team moving forward. But you know what? I'll just throw this out there. Why not? Looking at this noon dumpster fire Cincinnati Bengals versus Minnesota Vikings matchup. Carson Wentz, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Oh, where's the alarm? Where's the alarm?
Where is it?
It's out.
Hey,
I think we both did it at the same time.
Yeah. You did the soundings. Done Me Dirty is a 70s porn movie as well. Stop watching old porn movies out.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
Done Me Dirty.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're the classics.
There you go.
I like it for the storytelling.
Yeah.
I like to know why these people are
Like you
doing
like the
this.
Playboy for the articles, right?
I don't
Yeah.
like this new
Why
stuff. They just
is-
get into
why-
it. I need to know why they're getting into it.
Why is the pizza guy there at the most
Yeah, exactly.
time? Come on.
Yeah.
You watch it for the plot. You watch
Yeah.
it for the plot.
There you go, right. The cinematic
I did
value.
it for the articles.
Cinematic value.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
George Triviani. There I am. There I am.
am.
There I am. There I am.
You read Playboy all the time, don't you? I do. I not only read it, I read the articles.
Hey, I gotta real quick. I got a funny story since we're bringing this up.
Uh-oh.
I
Back
opened
in-
it up.
Back in high school,
Uh-oh.
we had a substitute teacher. His name was Mr. Knowles, and we had him for I was there all 4 years. I had him for like the first 2 years.
Are we
And
gonna get sued behind this?
no, I don't think so. We shouldn't.
Plenty of Mr. Knowles out there.
No, we'll be fine.
Right. Okay.
So
Bring it on, Mr. Knowles.
it came about and it spread around the school like wildfire that Mr. Knowles was in a porno.
Oh.
And the video went around the school.
Oh wow.
Was it the
Wow.
art teacher? Had to be.
What was it? No, I mean, I
Oh.
honestly, I have no
What did he
idea what the
teach?
context was. I don't know
What did he
or
teach?
he was
What's
just
it
a
called?
scrub.
What's
He-
this
he
called? Let me look at that. Do you remember the title of it? By chance?
Mr. Knowles does Debbie Does.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh man. Wow. Okay. All
Oh
right.
my god! I just needed to spill that story. Just it's
Oh, that's funny. That's
Oh.
funny.
This broadcast goes to hell every time I go there.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's great.
Coach, we lost you. Are you there? sir?
Oh man, yeah, I laughed so hard my camera cover fell over.
That's too good.
Oh, hilarious.
Brandon,
All
is this a fantasy question or are you just asking as a Raiders fan? I can't decide.
Right. Oh man, that's a good one. Damn. Okay. All
But yeah,
right.
so we don't know the name of the. I'm just kidding.
No, yes.
All right,
I'm sure you're going to be hearing from Mr. Knowles pretty soon, Robert.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be
Yeah,
getting.
you have the consultant
That's
counsel,
great.
the girl Alex Gibbons.
that's too funny.
Hey, there ain't no libel going on here. I'm speaking
right.
nothing but facts.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man,
That's a good one. Okay, good stuff. All right, I don't know how you follow that up with a hot take, but you got anything hot take is before we get out of here?
yeah, there's not much of a hotter take you can have than that. But
Mr. Knowles, hope you're doing well, man.
Knowles.
Ah, hilarious.
We gotta
Okay,
find
Oh,
this guy.
God.
all right.
Bring him on next
Right.
week.
I'm gonna mess with Cappy here. Marcus Mariota starts for the Commanders and beats the Raiders by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, man. Hey, remember, I'm going. I'll be there. And if you're right, trust me, I'll probably be throwing something at the screen next
Yeah.
broadcast.
Well, damn, I didn't know we were going just straight wild with it. F it, we'll go crazy with it. Giants upset the Chiefs. Chiefs 0-3. Sorry, Alex.
Oh,
Wow,
Oh,
dude.
the back of Jackson Dart.
All right, you know what? I retract mine. Actually, Herbert 4 picks. Chargers get a 20-point lead, and Herbert throws 4 freaking picks, and then we go, "Hey, why are we shocked? He's done this before."
Oh man. Okay, we just finished.
I stick with the Wentz one. That was pure. That was pure
That's funny.
spite.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
man.
just turned that to hate.
Tiger got out of the cage, man.
Your
Sorry.
anti-smugness.
Right. Mercy Street, guys. Mercy Street.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh man, good stuff, gentlemen. Well, listen, man, that was a great show, man. Oh man. So if you're looking for the Hit Squad, here's their socials. We're looking for our Commanders Insider Mike Dub, who is on vacation this week. He'll be back next week. Real AG Alex Gibbons, Chiefs Insider, he's here. Young RG, Robert Garcia, Chargers Insider. If you're looking for them, hit him up on those particular team questions. Hit him up on their socials. If you're looking for the Lockdown Diva Sports Network, here's all our socials. If you're looking for just general sports news or any questions related to the network, please hit us up on our socials as well. If you're looking for information live, guys,
Hit me
here's
up.
our guys here. Ref Guru on Twitter, Violator on Twitter, Captain Jack Rackham on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit him up. Subscribe to his YouTube channel for Raiders content as well.
And hats off to Mr. Knowles. Let's give him some credit here. Come on.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Knowles is the podcast legend right now. He's
Shout out
podcast
Mr. Knowles.
legend. Indeed. So if you're looking for our subsidiary channels, Electric Shock Podcast for Chargers content is here as well. Here's our socials for that. And if you look for fantasy football advice, as Brandon's in the chat looking for fantasy football advice on the wrong show. The Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast goes live each and every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on their channel, Lightning Fast FF. So hit the subscribe button on that channel as well, and hit us up on our socials if you have any fantasy football questions. If you look on our social media channel, we have a hotline number listed there. So if you want to call in to give us your questions live and direct, you can do that as well. But also on our socials, everything else.
Someone's just been calling in and breathing, though. I'm trying to figure out this.
You're a little stalkerish. Stalkerish. I don't know. Right. Real freaky. But yes, indeed. So yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back next week as always, live and direct here on the Lockdown Diva Sports Network at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Lockdown Blitz. We'll be covering week 3 in all its entirety. We'll have the gang ready to roll. And like I said, if you're looking for us at any point in time, hit us up on our social media accounts, and we'll get back to you in short order. But in the meantime, between time, that is a real H.G. Alice Givens. That is a young R.G. Robert Garcia. And that is the Captain Jack Rackham, the Salty Pirate himself, live and direct. And until next week, we'll see when we see you. And as always, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You got to step up to lock it down.